Please subscribe and don't forget to press the bell icon to get notified whenever we upload a new video.
Let's get back to our conversation with Basant now. Basant, just before we lost that line, what I was trying to ask you is that the index is back, of course, at historic levels. What about portfolios? I mean, what have the last, let's say, 2-3 months meant for you?
No, for us it has been phenomenal because we've like kind of always looked up at buying quality stocks, growing at faster rates, irrespective of market caps, across caps. So we've done very well, but it's not just about us. It's about the general public at large, because most of the public were invested in the small and the mid-cap space without quality. So let me give you an example without recommending any stock. An Ashok Leland, which fell just because some trucks could carry 10% more. It fell and then it recovered back. So if you've got the right stocks, even in the mid and the small cap space, even in the large cap space, you will do fine. But if you've got the wrong stocks, then irrespective of the caps, you're going to lose your cap out in the market. So I think over a period of time, it has been established, well established rather, that everybody makes money when a bull market is in vogue, right? 90% of the people lose whatever they have made in the 4 months of the bear market that follows a 4-year bull market. And it's the balance 10% if you can that are able to retain what they have made over the last 4 years. So this is nothing new. It's happened so many times elsewhere. And let me tell you, there's this theory about a handful of stocks picking up the Nifty and chasing the Nifty and creating the momentum. But if you look at the American stock market, the FANG stocks, the Facebook, the Apples and the Alphabets and the Googles and all that, they constitute $4 trillion market cap. The US stock market index, from what I recall, I'm not sure about it, is about $30 trillion. So these 4 or 5 companies constitute 12%, 13% of the US stock market capitalization. So if that is not concentration, what is? So if you look at it on a broader scale, whenever there is a bull market in vogue, there's just a handful of companies doing extraordinary well. And when every company starts to do well, it means the bull market is nearing an end. And it's very clear now, everybody cannot be rich at the same time. So there's only a handful of companies that do well for extended periods of time. But there are periods like it was last year and this year till January, where everything was going up, and then we saw what happened.
Yeah, that's true. Basant, the one pick that intrigues me in your portfolio is PNB Housing Finance. I mean, if you could tell us, because you would want to buy a DHFL, or there's a Repco which is there. There's so many private companies. Why PNB Housing Finance?
I mean, it's a great question. I wish I had an easier answer to it. I learned over the last 12 months that earnings is not everything. And it's a specific reference to PNB Housing. So irrespective of how great the numbers are coming out, the price isn't going up because there's a huge overhang of 50-60% equity waiting to be offloaded. So the theory here is, if you wait for this equity to be offloaded, then obviously the stock would be under pressure. But the moment that is done, the stock should come back on its vogue. It's growing at 40-45%, doing all the right things, controlling the asset quality, growing into newer, smaller tier 2, tier 3 towns and cities. So we chase, Anuj, as you know, we chase growth. So there might be other housing finance companies, but they're finding it tough to grow at 12 and 15%, whereas PNB, with its superb management, is trying to grow at 40-45%. And I think if it gets done, the stake sale, and these prices should be history, could rather. You cannot use the word should in the stock market. And this has been a pain for us in terms of the price. But you know what? I think in the stock market, the biggest conviction is price. Earnings is a close second. But still, we try and balance it between the two.
Yeah, I guess it's sentiment, it's human psyche. People do tend to get fearful when prices are down. Basant, you like consumer stocks, but selectively. Now, I mean, I don't remember if you're still holding it or not, but Avenue Supermarts has been a big play for you. Anything else? How else are you slicing and dicing consumer?
So any consumer stock which can grow at above 20% is a great thing to own for the next, because the best part about this 20% growth is you can forecast this growth over the next 3, 4, 5, 6 years, which we normally do. So we hold a few consumer stocks here and there, but mostly we are into Avenue. And the reason for being in Avenue is, again, the same thing. It's growing at 30-35%. I mean, it's taking away market share and all the cliched comments. But I think over a period of time, in India, the easiest way to make money, I mean, there's nothing easy in the stock market, obviously, but still, if relatively it is, by buying the private financials, because they are taking away market share from their PSU counterparts, and the consumer names, because consumer is like an autopilot mode. So it's like walking on roller skates on an escalator, so you don't have to do too much of effort. You buy it a little expensive, that's okay. Don't make money for 6 months, 9 months, and then once the earning catches up, you get your money back. So I think these are excellent long-term compounding stories, but who cares about compounding if the stock goes up 2.5 times in 1.5 years? I think so. You will find different kinds of stocks here, but I think a consumer as a theme and NBFCs, the private financials as a theme, is a great theme to bet on.
Okay, by the way, the stock that we referred to about 10 minutes back, let's just pull out that again. Indian Bank, intraday, it's down 6% now. We first flagged off, it was down about 3%, and since then this further decline which is taking place now, so 5.5% lower is what you have on Indian Bank. Basant, we had seen a big rally in PSU banks. SBI, of course, is a different story. You would ultimately, if you are bullish on India, you'll have to be at some point be bullish on SBI. But you had numbers yesterday from or day before from PNB, and you saw the market's reaction. Your thoughts on this entire PSU banking pack? Valuation-wise, perhaps available at historic lows, but problems still persist. So how would you approach them?
Anuj, how do you compute value? When you don't know the book, the value itself is such a random, arbitrary figure. So I'm not being very skeptical about these PSU banks. I think if you're a trader, they are phenomenal things to buy because they go up 20, 30, 40%. HDFC Bank would never give you that kind of money over a period of weeks. But then for a PSU bank, don't be a long-term investor, because if you're a long-term investor buying any PSU bank, say the second line, the third line, not the Bank of Baroda's, not the SBI types, then I think you will make probably more money by doing an FD in that bank than by buying the stock of the bank listed on the Bombay Stock Exchange. So it's not a contempt thing, but I think it's very difficult to actually go out and value a bank, which even the RBI is not able to do. See how many rats come out from the carpet. So if the RBI is not able to value these banks, I think we should be taking a back seat. Yes, trade them. So for trading, I mean, the price is the only indicator for trading. You buy it when you see it's going up, and then you assume to make a little more, and then you sell out. But if you're a long-term investor, there are several other places to be a long-term investor. But if you want to take a punt and all, I think it's a great theme to be punting around.
Oh, by the way, the markets are really taking off. We're almost approaching 11,450 on the index. That's a 0.5% increase. Let's pull up HDFC. That's doing its bit. State Bank is doing its bit. The Nifty Bank is actually up 0.5%. Lever, Reliance, lots of legs today. Reliance is now 12.14, 12.15. Interesting move on the large cap space. Mid caps have also recovered actually quite a bit. Anuj, I want to discuss the market with you in just a second, but let's just take a word from Basant. Basant, what about the money? We were just discussing mutual fund data in the morning because retail flows are kind of, tapering off. You mentioned price is everything. When the price is high, the money follows. What is HNI money doing? I mean, people who invest in PMSs, is the confidence back, and specifically to invest in the mid-cap and small-cap space?
We are getting a lot of inquiries, but we are really a small fry in the entire ocean. Let me give you a different aspect to it. Anybody who goes for professional help, I mean, isn't the most informed guy in the world. He's informed in the sense that he doesn't want to blow up his money on his own, but he goes for professional help. And when you go for professional help, it means you don't understand the markets. What you understand is returns. What you understand is the NAV. So the Indian investor, as I keep saying, hasn't been tested yet. I mean, Brexit came and went. Demonetization came and went. GST RERA came and went. The last 6-7 months have been the first big grind for him. And he is sticking on because the NAV of the previous units is showing him a profit. The real test for this guy would come around once the money that he's put in, comes back to the capital value. I'm not saying it's going to come, but these retail investors, normally they are focused by the profits that they make in an investment. And of course, there's a huge new group coming up, which is well understood, well informed, but nothing succeeds like success. So I have my doubts on whether this momentum is going to carry on for the next 6 months or 12 months if the market doesn't go up. And when I say the market, Nifty is not what I'm talking about.
Okay. So the last 6 or 7 months have been good for you, Basant. Last time you told me that as you head towards election, perhaps it would be time to Mamta-proof your portfolio. Have you started doing that in bits?
Yeah, to a large extent, we are well on way to do that, and I think that's the way to go about it. I mean, I think that's the extreme end of the assumption basket. A government led by Mamata Banerjee, but markets can get jittery on anything, so you have to be very sure of what you do.